Nope. Well, hello there, partner. Go on and hang up your hat, grab yourself a whiskey, and pull up in the easy chair. We're coming off the range of 9 to 5s with a whole herd of news stories that we've been steaming over like a cow patty in the Texas heat. As they say, the chickens are finally coming home to roost. And we're here to ruffle some feathers and ensure accountability ain't just a concept, it's reality. It's that time where the day's drama casts its longest shadow. So let's light a candle to the chaos of current events, the whirlwind of politics, and the tangled web of corruption that we find ourselves entwined by. It's time to ramble our way into the twilight. Welcome to Sunset Rants.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Sunset Rants. I'm your host, Biddy. I'm here with Nevassa. What's up?
Oh, dear God, the week is short, but the days are long. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I was really planning on putting up a backdrop that had New York City with like some kind of like orange fog over it to make it look like it's, burning because it's on its way to. But I was like, don't be dramatic. We'll get through it.
No, you won't. That's why you should have gone with Escape from New York.
Yes, I should have. Aw, see? Anyway, next time. Next catastrophe that New York has, I'm sure we'll have one. But yeah, if you want to follow the show, you can also do that at @therealroma_AK. If you want to follow us, you can follow me on X Elizabeth213A, and you can follow Nevassa at Lord Nevassa. Or you can use the Q&R code at the top of the screen and go to our website. We've got all the links and everything there. But yeah, let's get to it because we got a lot to talk about today. I might just pop a vein in my forehead.
Hold on, Biddy. Speaking of things being on fire, Louisville.
Oh, the Segway King is back. Yes. All right, let's talk about it. So coming to you from WALKY, Louisville, Kentucky. I'm sure you guys have heard about this tragedy that happened, and we're going to talk about the updates on that today. What caused the deadly plane crash in Louisville, what we know and what we don't know. So Tuesday was a devastating day in Louisville after a UPS plane crashed during takeoff. The catastrophic crash killed several people, injured many others, and left more than a dozen unaccounted for. It left behind an apocalyptic scene around the airport. And here's everything we know so far and everything we don't. So the plane crash was around 5:15 p.m. as it left UPS Worldport, the company's massive global air hub located at Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. It was en route to Daniel K. Inouye International Airport in Honolulu. Inouye, sorry. Thank you, guys. It exploded in flames in the... It exploded in flames in the area of Grade Lane and Fern Valley Road, where many businesses are located. It severely impacted at least two, shredding the top of a roof. The crash sent a massive plume of smoke into the sky, prompting a shelter in place that stretched all the way north to southern Indiana. It was mostly lifted by Wednesday morning. There was also a massive fire that spread nearly a mile. It took about 6 hours to get under control, and firefighters could be battling hotspots for a week or longer. The left Okolona Fire said the left wing caught fire during takeoff roll and the left engine detached. The National Transportation Safety Board comments on that. They're still investigating why and said they won't speculate or determine what it is while they're in Louisville. The NTSB has located the black box, of course, which records flight data and cockpit audio to help investigators understand what happened during that crash. They're saying, though, that it'll likely be several days before they get a read on it. As of this morning, at least 12 people have perished in this tragedy, and 15 are injured, several still missing. The governor said they do not expect to find any more people alive and say the number of deaths will likely increase. One of the deaths is believed to be a young child. 2 of those injured are in critical condition in the ICU. The injuries range from burns to blast wounds to smoke inhalations. And they were saying like the blast wounds are basically just almost like a car crash accident. That was comments from the CEO of the hospital where they were sent. There were 3 crew members on board. All of them perished, who not have any names. They do not have any names confirmed yet. So the plane itself, it was a 34-year-old McDonnell Douglas MD-11 built in 1991. It was flight number 2976. It was fully loaded with fuel at the time, with about 38,000 gallons, which contributed to the blaze being so massive. The fuel weighed about 280,000 pounds. It reached a max speed of 214 miles per hour, was on fire before it took off. Retired UPS Captain Norman C. Wright Jr. said it's the 3rd largest aircraft in the company's fleet and one of the oldest, but he said it's still one of the nice, reliable ones that we have there. I love how they just, check these articles before they put them out. That's a great job. Okay. So all right. I'm not going to read the whole entire article, but there's a couple of things. I mean, of course, everybody's going to be looking at the shutdowns and the lack of staff and air traffic controllers and the maintenance workers, and how that kind of like leans in on a lot of these other positions that are in airports, and make sure that everything goes off without a hitch. So that's on the radar. But Dr. Jason Smith, who's the CEO of UOFL Health, which is the hospital the victims were sent to, spoke at the press briefing. And he said that they do a massive disaster drills there at least once a year. They just had one over a month ago that was involving a plane crash, like a mock incident for training, coincidentally. They also do internal drills once a quarter. He also said that there was a massive triage that happened at the scene due to the amount of jet fuel. So they were decontaminating the victims before they transported them to the hospital. And he also mentioned the UOFL Health is one of the few in the country that can handle the type of burns that these victims had. They're a level 1 trauma center. Universal Louisville. According to sources at WHAS 11, Louisville local news station, they spoke with aviation lawyers and people who investigated the incidents, and looking at why this MD-11 was 2 hours and 2 minutes late on its departure time. Some say it's possible they had a 3 p.m. departure time in the system, and then they were just late loading packages on. This particular plane that crashed, though, this is the interesting part, and this is what they're really going to be looking into, was recently grounded for 6 weeks due to possible maintenance needed as well. It was grounded from September 3rd of this year to October 18th. There's no comment yet from UPS why it was grounded. I'm guessing they're trying to get their ducks in order, but they're going to be investigating that, and they're going to be waiting on a response about what exactly they were trying to fix or work on that particular plane. Ladd Sawyer, Sayer, I'm sorry if I'm saying his name right, who's an aviation lawyer. He said there's no reason to believe at this time that the pilots did anything wrong. I mean, basically everything, he kind of went through what happened. He said, like, if you have a plane that's that heavy and you lose one engine, it's just kind of like it's all downhill from there. So there's going to be a lot of investigating going into this. And also they're saying that this is kind of like a historical event that's happened. It's one of the largest that's happened in this area and kind of like in general. But yeah, I mean, like, they had 2 people in the burn unit, and I mean, it was just absolutely horrible. But yeah.
What I was doing a little bit of schmoogling on was McDonnell Douglas. It rang a bell for me. So I was like, oh, where did I hear McDonnell Douglas from? McDonnell Douglas merged with Boeing in 1997.
Okay.
And this airplane was made in 1991. So it was still McDonnell parts, but it had merged maintenances with Boeing, most likely starting about 1999, 2000. We already know Boeing has been caught underhanding their maintenance, safety, quality control, QA, etc., at least for the last decade. And this is a 31-year-old plane that already most parts aren't made for it in the first place. And then on top of that, substandard QC and QA and maintenance, which, oh, by the way, the article called out 6 weeks of grounding because of maintenance practices. I wonder why.
That's crazy. Wow.
But no, it's like the state of Kentucky cannot catch a break. Because I remember back in June, London, Kentucky, and all of Somerset County, Kentucky, wiped off the earth with tornadoes. And now you get this. And the fact that the government shutdown is now amplifying all the TSA and FAA air traffic controller issues that we have. It's just putting them under the microscope, and it's hitting even harder. Like, already 10% of flights are already going to be canceled for the upcoming holiday season because there ain't enough air traffic controllers. Because Democrats. And Hardy made a beautiful comment saying that the left wing is always burning something. I wonder why.
Dougie said the FBI is also assisting in the NTSB investigation by cataloging and removing debris. Yeah. I was actually, before we came on, I was watching a little bit of Timcast. Shout out to Timcast, friends of ours. And they, I think it was Libby who brought up something, and I remember this, that some of the Democrats, and I don't know if she said who it was, but they were saying, like, we'll keep going until planes fall out of the sky or something like that. Now, I don't remember who made that comment, but that is actually really morbidly insane when you think about this story and what's going on.
Why do you think I say communists aren't people?
I love Libby. Yeah, she's awesome. She's super smart. Yeah.
It's a real shame. It's a real gosh darn shame that planes are falling out of the skies. Like Wednesday, when did that plane crash happen? This morning? Yesterday? When did it happen?
Yesterday. Yeah, 5:15 Eastern in the night.
Gosh darn it. Like, I was talking with our allegedly godly producer, Brian, that there's only about 6 or 7 major cargo airports in the United States to handle all the air freight going to and from. And Louisville's one of them. And so when they shut down Muhammad Ali International, that's what Louisville is called, or that's what the Louisville airport's called. Much like how Charlotte, their airport's called Charlotte Douglas. Houston, it's George W. Bush or George H.W. Bush International, so on and so forth.
We have JFK. Yeah.
When they shut down JFK, when they
Mhm.
shut down Muhammad Ali International, you're going to see the economic impacts right off the bat because of the amount of freight that goes into and out of Louisville and all the travel costs that go with it. I wouldn't be surprised to see 5, 6, 7% increase in price right off the bat.
I really hate to be that person of like conspiracy theory and like all this shit, but like it's crazy how just 2 months ago they did maintenance on this very plane, and then just put into what you just said as well. I really would love to know what was on that plane, what was being transported. Even if it's not anything like, whoa, that's crazy that was being transported, just like kind of in general, and the economic, you know, catastrophe that comes from
Careful now.
whatever that was supposed to be transported. What?
Again, careful now. You're starting to put things together you're not supposed to.
It's just really, it's disgusting because I don't want to think that way, but like I'm saying stuff and then I'm listening to you and then I get like the chills in my body and I'm just like, it's like that gut feeling that you start thinking like, would they actually would, you know, and that's the sad part
do not
about
be
it.
mistaken. Do not be mistaken. If you want to know who or what group of people I would argue is the most evil kind of people, insurance agents. Because we always say you can't put a price tag on human life. Tell that to your insurance policy.
Oh, man. Hey, Funk. Glad to see you, my friend. Welcome back. And with gifting 10 memberships to everybody in the chat. You are freaking awesome. Welcome back, guys. Yeah, thank you. Funky. We need to get like a soundboard thing. But yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need that. But if you want to talk about soundboards and things that we definitely need to add to our stream, we definitely don't need to add all the bullshit that's going to come out of New York City real soon.
Do we have to? All right, let's go.
Hey, you're the one that mentioned planes falling out of the sky, but you guys definitely forgot. Never forget 2001. You guys definitely forgot.
All right, I have a comment about that, but I'll wait. Okay. Do you want me to read this or you want to read it?
I'm sure. This is your backyard.
All right. Coming to you from ABC News. Terrible news, you guys. I can't even. I'm so sick. I can't even. But
it's just the worst.
All right. Election 2025. Winners make history as first female governor, first Muslim mayor, and more. Yay! At what point do we check all the boxes and we stop playing these games? Tuesday's elections proved to not only be big wins for Democratic candidates in many races, but also history making in several instances. And here's a look at everything, the dumpster fire. Democratic candidate Zoran Mamdani's projected victory in New York City mayoral election will make him the city's first Muslim and South Asian mayor. Born in Uganda, Mamdani is a Muslim of Indian descent who's lived in the United States since he was 7 years old, becoming a naturalized citizen just 7 years ago, though. So he's been here the whole time and just got his citizenship. At age 34, Mamdani is set to become the youngest New York City mayor in more than a century. The election that propelled him to victory also made history, with 2 million voters turning out Tuesday in New York City, the first time a mayoral election crossed the 2 million voter threshold since 1969. There's also Democrat Abigail Spanberger's win over Republican Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears, like really makes her the first woman to be elected governor of Virginia. Spanberger, 46, is a former U.S. representative and a former CIA intelligence officer. Okay, that's great. She's also a mother. Right. She's also a mother of 3 and reflected in her victory speech on election night about the moment her husband told their 3 daughters that their mom would be the next governor of Virginia. Here's a quote, and I can guarantee those words have never been spoken in Virginia ever before. She said, it's a big deal that the girls and young women I have met along the campaign trail now know with certainty that they can achieve anything. Virginia also elected State Senator Ghazala Hashmi as lieutenant governor on Tuesday, making her the first Muslim woman to win statewide office in any U.S. state, according to her campaign. Spanberger and Mickey Sherrill, a Democrat who won the New Jersey gubernatorial election, made history by both winning governor's elections Tuesday. I just, yeah. So I found an article here from the Daily Caller. It says, unhappy with election results, blame women. And here's why. So in Virginia, 81% of young female voters backed Abigail Spanberger for governor. In New Jersey, 81% of young female voters backed Mickey Sherrill for governor. In New York City, 84% of young female voters backed Zohran Mamdani for mayor. And these numbers include young women of all races. Gen Z is the least white American cohort to date. Non-whites tend to lean Democrat, non-white women even more so. New York City has a total non-Hispanic white population of about 31%, according to the 2020 census. Yeah, so that's really interesting. And also another interesting exit poll finds 1/3 of NYC, a Jewish community, backed far-left Mamdani. And you're talking about people who quickly forget. And that's another thing I'm going to comment back, because I've seen that a lot. And listen, I haven't forgot. My father is a retired captain FDNY. He was there for 9/11. He lost a lot of his friends. He went to hundreds and hundreds of funerals. He still to this day, he deals with everything that went down that day. It torments him to this day. There's a lot of people that haven't forgot, and a lot of those people probably did vote against Mamdani. However, people forget that a ton of people over the past 5 years have exited New York and still are. During COVID shutdown, especially in my neighborhood, I was just like walking around. You can count for sale, for sale, for sale, for sale. And I'm not even kidding. It's like it was everywhere. People were leaving in droves. So like when people say like, where are the real New Yorkers? How can you forget? They're gone. I'm like one of the very few real New Yorkers that are still here. Everyone else has been imported here. And they can give two about what happened on 9/11. They don't care. They haven't assimilated. They came here, they were promised free stuff, and they're like, here, vote for these people and you can continue getting free stuff. They can care less. So everybody that keeps saying that stuff is really like boiling my blood, because I'm like, bro, do you guys like put two and two together and realize that the New Yorkers that were here 26 years ago have been here all that time? They're gone. The people that had the means to do so, they left. So I knew this was going to happen. I was hoping not, but I knew it was going to happen.
I saw an article of a man that was a psychiatrist doing the psychological evaluations of German soldiers during the Nuremberg trials. And he came back he was asked a question. How do you define evil? And in his defense, he did not have an answer. But he did say that he thinks he's close to one. And he called it a lack of empathy. To argue that you have no empathy, by that definition, means that you're evil. By that logic, to have no empathy is evil, but to have an excess of empathy is also evil. Because of the duality of numbers. To have too little, evil. To have too much, evil. Especially because we as humans operate in moderation. Too many calories, you get fat. Too little calories, you get skinny. So on and so forth. Bearing that in mind, I argue that most leftists in general, whether or not you are left of that spectrum or left of center, right of center, whatever, if you're going to go full leftist, you are evil. you have too much empathy. And they've already shown it scientifically with the amygdala. You know what the amygdala is, right?
I've heard of it, but refresh my
The
memory.
So the amygdala in the human brain controls fear, caution, and analysis.
Wow, all of that in one
Conservatives
spot?
have
That's a
a
little nuts.
larger.
Yeah.
Oh, the brain is very compact. Do not be mistaken. But the amygdala in the human brain for conservatives was found to be no less than twice the size of liberals and leftists. What that means is conservatives are much more cautious, much more fearful of the environments that they are in than leftists. Meaning leftists are more probable to go ahead and be violent, more careless, and less likely to take into account environmental factors in the actions that they do, which is why the reinforcement of the social media algorithms promoting the diversity, equity, and inclusion, the violent protests, which have become riots, especially the Summer of Love in 2020, they have a higher propensity of happening in leftist areas, i.e. your big cities. And I am sorry that New York City is going to burn in flames, but it has to be set as an example. Much like how Sherman during the American Civil War, almost screwed that up, General Sherman from the Mississippi straight through the march to the Atlantic, through Atlanta and through Savannah, burned everything to the ground. I don't want that to happen. But sometimes a tantrum child must be disciplined. Whether it is a child or a city, actions have consequences. And I'm all in favor of the Insurrection Act being imposed on every sanctuary city because, mind you, every sanctuary city is harboring fugitive aliens. Whether they've committed a crime or not in the United States is immaterial. They entered illegally. Title 8 USC 1325 makes entering the country through an unauthorized means a crime.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's
and it's crazy too because
immaterial.
it's not like there's walls around every state. So you want to argue that you have state sovereignty and you should be allowed to have these sanctuary policies? No, because it affects the entire nation. That person that came in here illegally that you allowed to stay there, and you're not even like putting them really through the system. You're allowing them to come in, and a lot of people, like sometimes I go through, without like saying anything too much, but like I go through stuff, and a lot of people have the same birthdays. Like, there's just so much corruption that is going on. And then these people get in their cars, how they get these cars, I don't know. They get the cars and then they drive to other states and commit crimes. So at what point, and this is why it pisses me off that we gave the Republicans the mandate, we gave them the damn power, and they're not doing anything about it. They're still so damn spineless. And Thune needs to get up and get rid of the filibuster. I don't care what they say about it anymore, because you're going to say, oh, if we don't do it, then the Democrats don't do it. Yeah, okay, right. When the Democrats, if God forbid they get into power again, they are absolutely going to get rid of the filibuster. They're going to pack the courts and do everything else. So do it now and pass every agenda, voting ID, and all of that now. Like, I feel like I'm going insane. Sorry, I told you I was going to rant.
Democrats already
I'm
have
losing my mind.
Oh, trust me, I'm already there with you. Welcome to the club. But the Democrats have already shown they have contempt for the conservatives' way of living. They already call conservatives fascists, Nazis, every ick, ist, and ism that the English language affords. And they're coming up with new ones, like they're coming up with new sexualities every day.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, This is a culture war, people. This time that we are living in, this is what most political educated people are calling the seventh era of politics. This is the Trumpian era. The first era was the George Washington era, where our founding fathers were initially getting everything set up, trends, norms, and traditions established. The next era after that was Jacksonian. Go down a few rabbit holes after that. Now we've got Trumpism. And I hate to say this, but another roadblock for Trumpian era politics is sitting at the Supreme Court once again. This time on the front of tariffs. And what does it mean to actually tariff something versus tax something? And I fucking despise Sotomayor. Like, if Ketanji Brown Jackson was the most racist Supreme Court justice we've had in the modern era, Sotomayor has to be the dumbest by far. But from CNBC, Supreme Court justices appear skeptical that Trump tariffs are legal because, of course, they questioned Sotomayor. Supreme Court justices appear deeply skeptical about the legality of tariffs imposed by President Donald Trump against most of the world's nations. Yada, yada. Quote, Supreme Court justices on Wednesday expressed skepticism about the legality of aggressive tariffs imposed by President Donald Trump against most of the world's nations. Conservatives and liberal justices sharply questioned Solicitor General D. John Sauer on Trump administration's method for enacting the tariffs, which critics say infringes on the power of Congress to tax. Lower federal courts ruled that Trump lacked the legal authority he cited under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act to impose the so-called reciprocal tariffs on imports from many U.S. trading partners and fentanyl tariffs on products from Canada, China, and Mexico. Sauer, who is defending the tariff policy as grounded in the power to regulate foreign commerce, said, quote, these are regulatory tariffs. They are not revenue-raising tariffs. The fact that they raised revenue was only incidental, Sauer said, shortly after oral arguments in the case began. Justice Sonia Sotomayor, one of the court's three liberal members, told Sauer, quote, you say tariffs are not taxes, but that's exactly what they are. They're generating money from American citizens. Revenue, Sotomayor said. She later noted that no president other than Trump has ever used IEEPA to impose tariffs since it became law in 1977.
So
Justice
should we
Neil
just
Gorsuch,
not use
one
it?
of the six conservatives on...
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, don't get me started. Justice Neil Gorsuch, one of the six conservatives on the court, pressed Sauer on the fact that Trump unilaterally imposed the tariffs by citing purported international emergencies of trade imbalances and the flow of fentanyl into the United States without Congress authorizing them. What happens when the president simply vetoes legislation to take these powers back? Gorsuch asked. So Congress, as a practical matter, can't get this power back once it's handed over to the president. It's a one-way ratchet toward the gradual but continual accretion of power in the executive branch and away from the people's elected representatives. Other conservatives, Justice Roberts, Barrett, and Kavanaugh, and Alito also pressed Sauer. The tariffs start at a baseline of 10% on many nations and spike to as high as 50% on goods from India and Brazil. The tariffs, if allowed to stand, would result in $3 trillion in extra revenue for the United States by 2035, according to the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. The group last week said the federal government collected $151 billion from customs duties in the second half of the fiscal year 2025, a nearly 300% increase over the same period in fiscal year 2024. Neil Catel, a lawyer for the plaintiffs in the case, opened his argument by saying tariffs are taxes, picking up the theme that multiple justices had raised with Sauer. Our founders gave that taxing power to Congress alone. When Roberts asked him if tariffs implicated the power of the president to conduct foreign policy for the United States, as Sauer had argued, Catel replied, we agree that tariffs have foreign policy implications. Okay, I'm going to stop there.
Yes.
You have now argued both sides against the middle. You can't have your cake and eat it too. So, which one is it? Are you taxing or are you conducting policy? Because if you're conducting foreign policy, then it's strictly executive. And I don't give a flying frick what the tyrannical black robe judges, unelected bureaucrats, mind you, have a gavel to swing for. Versus, if you're going to tax something, tariffs are not taxes. Okay? A tariff is not a tax. Because John Roberts also gets implicated on Obamacare, saying that it was a tax to go ahead and fine you for not having health insurance. So, what does it mean to be a tax then? Is a fine a tax? Is a tariff a tax? Or is a duty a tax? What is a tax then?
Right. And you know, the president has the executive power to say whether or not something is an emergency. We have an economic emergency in this country, among other emergencies that are happening. We elected him to be the person to say whether or not we're in an emergency in various different situations. So if you have something in place that Congress, you know, voted to pass for situations like this, if we do need to impose tariffs because of economic emergency, what is it there for if we're not supposed to use it? I don't get it. I don't understand. You say it's in the power of Congress, but yet you gave that power. You made a thing, a bill, you passed it.
You delegated that crap.
Exactly. So it's been done. So, you know, and the thing that really frosts my cookies is that they absolutely know the truth. They know the truth, and they're just playing words with people to make everybody scream and yell in the opposite direction. It's frustrating. It's crazy. And this is what happens when you allow people to have too much power and to have it for long periods of time. The term limits should, please, the founding fathers, I'm sorry, I love you guys, but like, you really should have put term limits on Congress. You really should have also did something about their salary. Whether or not if the government is open, that they should still get paid, because they will never ever vote against these things. You were asking them to vote against themselves and they won't do it. Like, when are we going to ever be able to get them to not have these career politicians that just think that they are government, like Pelosi and Schumer, like, and Mitch McConnell, who, you know, came out and started talking about Louisville and, you know, all the lives that are lost, and he's very upset about it, or but he keeps voting against the clean CR. Sometimes I don't like, it's like, I have faith in God. I understand God is in charge of everything. If certain things need to happen just to wake people up, it's his will, you know, like, we can't see a whole purpose and what things need to happen to really hopefully save this country. And it may need to happen with suffering in order for everybody to really understand the truth. You know, like, the more suffering we have, the more people wake up. And it just seems like we're going to have to probably go through a ton of suffering before anything gets fixed. But I was looking a couple of things. So the Supreme Court, which has, you know, a full plate of items to review, they're considering this case on an expedited basis at the request of both the government and the plaintiff. So experts like Greta Piesch, she's a trade attorney. She's a partner for Wiley Rain. She spoke with Bloomberg and expects that we should have a decision in a couple of months. That's I guess that means expedited. She also expects that the Trump administration, they're all going to be considering a plan B for this if the decision is, you know, against them. They even heard administration officials talk about other authorities that they may employ to put in place a similar tariff policy, saying it might not be as flexible or as fast or even have the advantages of the authority of the one that they're using right now, but that they will find other means to essentially recreate the tariffs that they have today, because you know, most people recognize that Trump is dead set on this, you know, and he's a businessman, right? So there's a lot of things that I'm not a business person, but, you know, from what I can gauge is like, when there's a lot of things that you have to put where you put a lot of risk and a lot of reward, and things can be very delicate balance state. And if you don't follow through, you can really go like 30 steps back. So he really has to follow through on his plan. They know this. They want it to fail, because the whole idea of this is to say that we can get revenue in other ways, and we don't have to tax everybody up the wazoo, and also bring, jobs back here. And, that kind of undermines a lot of these career politicians. So they're playing this, weaving and wobbling game. They understand that. So the possible plan Bs that she cited was Section 122, which is a balance of payment authority. Section 301, which is country by country. It has some delay, and it's also more limited. There's Section 232 tariffs, which is sectoral tariffs, where investigations have started on a swath of sectors and products, which can at least partially replace tariffs. And then there's Section 338, which I think Alito might have cited, which is basically allows the U.S. president to impose tariffs up to 50% on countries that discriminate against U.S. commerce. So they have some tools in their toolbox.
You don't say.
Kind of sounds like where we're at right now.
Legal?
Right. Yeah.
You don't say.
Yeah.
But you mentioned something
that would be great, because it kind of bounces back and it makes it better. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. All I was going to say is you had mentioned earlier that, hey, we might have to do some suffering to make things better, because with the good comes with the bad, and we don't see God's plan. Like, I believe in God as well, but I'm ashamed. I am actually kind of sad that Minneapolis doesn't get to suffer alongside New York City with a Muslim mayor. I'm really sad.
You're the best segue, man.
Because Minneapolis, unfortunately, elected the incumbent, Jacob Frey, fending off a progressive challenger to win his third term from The Guardian.
Mm-hmm.
The ranked choice election. See, that's where they fucked up. They fricked up by going ranked choice instead of first past the post, like New York City does. But Minneapolis' mayor, Jacob Frey, fended off progressive challengers on Tuesday to win his third term to lead the city. The ranked choice election went into a second round of tabulations after no candidate topped 50% in the first round. Frey gained more second-round votes, putting him ahead of Omar Fateh, a state senator who challenged Frey from the left, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was a product of incest, according to Minneapolis Elections and Voter Services. After Zoran Mamdani's rise in New York City, Fateh, 35, gained attention for policy similarities and message alignment with Mamdani. Both are Democratic socialists who have tapped into the local DSA chapters to knock on doors and reach out to voters. Oh, the socialists are actually working? Egads. 15 people ran in the Minneapolis election for mayor, with 3 Democrat candidates rising to the top of the heap. Not surprised. Fateh was the front-running challenger, with attorney Jazz Hepton and Minister Dwayne Davis pulling in their own constituencies. The 3 challengers formed an alliance of sorts, appearing at each other's events. Fateh told voters not to rank Jacob Frey on their ballots, while Hampton and Davis did not agree with that strategy. Instead of a primary, Minneapolis holds caucuses and a city convention. Fateh earned the endorsement of the Minneapolis Democratic Farmer Labor Party, basically Minnesota's version of the Democrat Party.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. At the city convention earlier this year, but it was then revoked by the state party after the electronic voting system failed to capture all votes in the contest. Oh, please tell me that was Dominion. Please tell me that was Dominion votes.
Well, I mean, if it was, I'm sure Fox News will report on it.
Oh, I know, right? Frey, 44, faced the challengers this year in his run for a third term. His critics cite his handling of the protests that followed the murder of George Floyd in 2020, persistent policing problems, a homelessness crisis, and disagreements with the more progressive city council. Frey often serves as a moderate check on the council, which includes several Democratic socialists. He had the money advantage in the race, receiving support from the city's business-friendly establishment. Basically, they're arguing Jacob Frey bought his way into the mayoral position against the wishes of the Democratic Socialists of Minneapolis, and now they're going to throw a bitch fit. That's what I hear out of this.
Mm-hmm.
You?
No, I agree. I agree with all your comments and everything, because that's really what they were missing here, and that's why Cuomo didn't win. And also, a lot of people like to say, Sliwa should have dropped out, but like even him and Cuomo together, they were, whether it depends on how you feel about polling too. I don't really feel that they're that legit, but in the polling, it showed. I don't even know why they were saying that, because the people that were saying that showed the polls, and the polls with the two of them together were still less than Mamdani. So, but this is what they do. They have it all rigged so that way you have to, get the lesser of two evils. Either you go totally socialist, communist, woke craziness, or you go moderate socialist, communist, woke craziness. Pick your poison. So.
By the way, I have to give credit where credit is due. Funkmaster is 100% right. I mispronounced his name. It's Omar Fatty.
Wait, is his name really pronounced Fatty? I'm gonna.
No, it's spelled Fateh, but I should have pronounced it as Omar Fatty.
Oh, you should have. Let's just rewind it, do it one more again. Yeah. But yeah, you know what's crazy too? I mean, I did have a video. I think we're getting kind of short on time, so it's probably can't play it. But I did see a post which Scott Pressler actually reposted today. And it was a post that he said bookmark this, and this was back in August, where he told Republicans, you guys are going to lose big in November if you don't start promoting early voting and requesting mail-in ballots. Like, I know a lot of people are, dug in the sand about certain things because we feel like, if we just keep going strong on it, everyone around us will falter. But look at what happened in New Jersey. They had bomb threats at like so many different counties on election day. And I'm sure that had, that didn't help, for people that a lot of Republicans and conservatives went that day a little bit. But that's exactly what he lost by, and not to mention like other things that, we've been looking at, James O'Keefe, showing like, the behind the scenes footage and stuff. Thank you, Rick, for sending me the video. But, Mamdani campaign caught an undercover sting operation from Liberal Hive Mind. He sent me this video, and they were just kind of showing somebody go in, pretend to be somebody just got here, not saying I'm an illegal immigrant, but just kind of somebody just got here, and then them telling them, where they can go to vote. And he's like, yeah, I can go and vote for mayor. And he's like, yeah. And then the guy's kind of like balancing whether or not to say like which one to vote for. But, you have that, you have, campaign funding nonsense and a lot of other things. I was telling you earlier in New Jersey, again, the mayor, who's a Democrat, endorsed Citarelli. I always say his name wrong for some reason, which is so weird. But it's like Citarelli, that he endorsed him, and then like a month later, his auto body shop went up in flames out of nowhere. I'm not saying, people involved, whatever, but it's freaking coinkydink, like it's really weird. So yeah, there's so much corruption. They're holding on to these blue states and cities like by the throats, and they don't want to let them go. And they have implemented so many different ways to keep it strong blue. And
well, all I can tell you is I feel no sympathy for New York, no sympathy for any of these cities, especially if they call themselves sanctuary cities. Because they are harboring illegal immigrants themselves, and that's a crime. They should have already been insurrection acted their way through. Mm-hmm. But I know that most of the cities, I know that they are good people, but they're ran horribly. They are ran like trash into the ground. Mm-hmm. And at this point, the only saving grace I can see of cities being trash in general is the fact that Burger King is only more trash in their food. And now they're having to scrape pennies out of the. They're having to get pennies out of the sofa to pay for the trash food.
Right. All right. Well, let's just go through this extremely fast, so we can get to my favorite time of day to bring back the sanity.
Of course.
From New York Post, Burger King's hoarding pennies and other stores rounding up as U.S. phases out 1-cent coins. Burger Kings are among the many cash-heavy businesses around the U.S. grappling with the phase-out of the penny, with one group of the fast food joints reportedly hoarding the coins by the box since President Trump ordered the Treasury Department to stop minting them earlier this year. Businessman Gary Andrzejewski, we'll go with that, that the Burger Kings he operates in Baltimore have stockpiled 30 boxes of pennies so far. Said, I don't think anyone has any idea what they're doing right now, he was quoted saying. He said since his armored car service stopped dropping off pennies to his Baltimore stores, he has saved up enough coppers to cover 2 months of transactions. So basically, the location had posted a sign stating bills would be rounded up or down to the nearest nickel, leaving her to pay $2.25 for a coffee that actually cost $2.23. Saying, I heard the government saying that we're going to get rid of them. I just didn't think it would be so soon, said the customer, 56-year-old retiree Holly Elizabeth Tinervin. Burger King is far from the only chain trying to figure out how to do business without pennies. At Texas Roadhouse, executives recently fielded questions from managers worried about bank runs on pennies and smaller tips if customers can't make exact change. Hey, listen, I'm keeping my pennies. Like the dirty ones, they can go out if I have any of those, but like I have a bunch of shiny ones. I'm saving those because I feel like at one point they're going to be all gone, and then, maybe they'll be worth something, and then I can afford to get out of this city.
To be fair, if you're pre-1982, again, if you're pre-1982 pennies, those are 95% copper or 5% zinc, instead of the bullshit that we have today being 95% zinc and 5% copper. And we got rid of the pennies because it costs 3.1 cents to make a penny, which, yes, just go the same way Japan does.
Yeah.
But at the end of my day, like you said earlier, we need sanity. We need some chuckles. Hopefully the chat can give us some with this next episode of Caption This.
Yeah. Waiting on the bump. Do a little dance. I was just reading Doug's thing here. Every time it rains pennies from heaven. I love that song. I always save wheat pennies. What are wheat pennies?
All day long. Have good luck. Wheat pennies are, I believe, pre-1953.
Oh.
Oh, God!
So this is a quick caption. This is our favorite time of this show. Yeah, this is a game that we play just for anybody who's new. We give you an AI generated image and we ask you, the audience, to please participate. Give us a funny caption, and then Nevassa and I will vote on the one we think is the funniest at the end. What were you gonna say, love? I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I don't pre-watch these AI photos. I don't pre-watch. So what I see on the stream is my first time watching it. And the first thing that came to my mind for this AI image is, oh dear God, it's Rosie O'Donnell.
Why? Oh man, her ears must be bleeding constantly. I can't believe it. It really sucks because a lot of movies that I really used to enjoy watching, I swear. Hey Rick, of course.
Funkmaster General.
Oh yeah,
Funkmaster, yes.
What does he say? Please don't spend your YouTube allotted percentage of this 20 on shitty food. No, I will go Maha all the way with it. Hey, I started making bread. No. I made 3 or 4
water,
loaves.
Salt.
No, I'm just making regular bread. I'm gonna transition to doing sourdough soon. But like my husband's like addicted to it now.
Okay.
So he'll like text me on his way home from work. He's like, "Did you make another loaf?" And I'm
Okay.
like, "Yes, I put it together at lunch. It'll be ready for dinner." It's good.
Okay.
It keeps you sane.
Number one, Biddy. Number one, being that you are in New York City, there's a thing called everything sourdough. Okay, it's basically everything that you find on an everything bagel. Put that as the crust, and then bake that in your sourdough.
Oh, yeah, they have everything but the bagel seasoning. Yeah, I've seen that a bunch of times. I think I actually might have it. I think I bought it a while ago and I didn't really use it. I forgot I had it. I think I might actually have it. Pennies for smog. Oh my god.
Yes!
I actually got the reference. Yes. Let's see.
Oh no. That's good. That is beautiful. Pennies for smog. Ooh, penny monster.
Nice.
That's good. But no, when I saw the coins, you know what the first thing that came to my mind for the coins was?
What?
It's like those Easter chocolate coins.
Yes.
Like the little gold wrap.
Mm-hmm. And it takes you like 7 years to get the wrapper off.
Oh, absolutely.
I think they used to have like a little piece that you just like pull around and then you take it off nice and easy.
They used to, and then they switched providers, and of course it had to be Chinese providers now, and that's why it's a bitch.
Cost cutting.
But no. Oh, absolutely. And Elon Musk.
Spyro has now started eating his treasures. I'm in the money. He had a band later called the Penny Theory. Crazy kid. Oh wait, I didn't read the whole thing. Oh, Rebel said, I once dated a guy who had a theory that pennies were used by the government to read your mind. He had a band later called the Penny Theory. Crazy kid. Cool name for a band. Mm-hmm. You know what? I mean, they did use pigeons. I'm sure that's a huge conspiracy theory. You know what? I read like a really sad story about pigeons, how like they were used at one point to like send messages and stuff like that, and like kind of like almost in a domesticated sense. And then when the invention of the telephone happened, we didn't need to use them anymore. And now they're just like walking around like, but we're your friends, we're your buddies. Why are you trying to like avoid me on the sidewalk? I'm like, that's so sad. And now, like, if I see a pigeon, which I don't really see pigeons anymore, but if I see one, I'm going to feel bad about it. And maybe, like, try to say hello.
I wonder why you don't see pigeons in New York anymore. Could it be because of the pigeon stew?
Ew. See, this is why I cook at home.
This is New York you're talking about there, bitch.
I'm telling you, I really stopped a lot of order. I mean, it saves money too, but like I stopped a lot of ordering. I just make everything. All right, let's see. What do we got?
Rick.
Where?
Rick, yes.
Oh my god! Wait, so who's Spyro? Because he used Spyro before, and I don't know the reference.
Spyro the Dragon.
Who's Spyro the Dragon? Oh, I don't know. I started playing this zombie game.
Spyro the Dragon came out. That's fair. Spyro the Dragon came out about the same time as Crash Bandicoot.
Oh wow, really?
So Purple Dragon, Tiny Wings. Oh yeah.
It was for
PS1.
Cool.
But no, I love it.
Oh, Feed the Birds.
Nah,
I love that song.
But no, I made a comment. We now know what Donkey's divorce settlement was.
Because I'm done with you. Don't try to make me feel better. All right. My penny loafers will be out of luck.
I
That's
can't
cute.
help it, man.
All right, we
But
gotta
no.
pick something. It's
But
getting
no.
close to that. Well, it is that time, but we gotta pick something. What are we gonna
You
pick?
know, I'm gonna go with Rick. 1 minute after Mamdani's victory speech. Oh, Hardy at the last possible minute, last possible second. How to Train Your Dragon's gambling addiction.
That's cute.
Oh.
Trogdor burning down the countryside to get those shiny
Or
pennies.
do you have Rick
Thank you,
with
Doug.
Spyro Mamdani speech or Rebels Smog?
Yeah, I like the smog one too.
Pennies for Smog or Mamdani?
Let's go with Mamdami because it's like, I mean, that was like the whole blood boiling moment for today's show, and it made you laugh really loud. So I think that that's the winner. What do you think?
Okay, Rick, you now get to make that an alert.
Nice.
Spyro,
Congratulations,
1 minute
Rick.
After
Yeah.
1 minute after Mamdani's victory speech, Spyro hoards the wealth. I still like the divorce settlement, though.
But yeah, thank you guys so much. As always, I say I'm never gonna get tired of saying, and I hope I never do, because we appreciate you guys so much. I know a lot of people on YouTube and all this stuff say these things, you know, but we really do. I love seeing you guys in the chat. I love talking to you guys. You make me smile, even though I feel like I'm going insane. So thank you guys for the support and the love that you always show. All of you, you're awesome. And yeah, if you want to follow the show, you can follow on X, the real Roma_8K. You can follow me, Elizabeth213A, if you want to. I don't really have an agenda on there. I just post what I want. Just, you know, chill, hang out, and engage all day with everybody. So if you want to talk to me throughout the day, follow me. I do good morning gifts, and they're pretty cool. They're very old Hollywood oriented, so you know, if you like that kind of stuff. And then of course you can follow Nevassa at Lord Nevassa. You can go up to the top there, and you see he already has the website behind him. You can get that by going to the Q&R code up the top of the screen. And join the Discord, you guys. So, like, especially like if you know, if you don't want to, of course you can hang out with us here, but it would be really cool if you join the Discord and hang out with us in the VC chats, have some philosophical conversations, things like that.
Oh, do not be mistaken. The wackiness goes everywhere, whether it's politics and philosophy or the absurd and the irrational. It is there.
Yeah.
But I do want to say
what
two
was
things.
that?
Number
Oh,
one.
Go ahead.
So 2 things. Number one, on Rumble, we are at 75 subscribers, trying to get to 100 by the end of the year.
Yes.
Let's get that pushed through. And number 2, next week, 6 days from now, is Veterans Day. If you are not a vet, thank a vet. Veterans Day is for the living.
Thank you, Vet.
Yes, we all make the jokes. We all make the jokes and the stereotypes, like every veteran going to every Applebee's they can find for the free meals. Like, yes, I too have a plan for all of the 11th of where the free meals are.
Listen, I'm like an old lady
Because-
when I get like those birthday things, like you get like a free ice cream, or you get like you know, a free birthday gift from the Makeup Sephora thing or whatever. I'm there. Are you kidding me?
You funky master!
Hey, fun.
Thank you for another 5 gift subs.
That's
But yeah,
awesome. Thank you so much, man.
Next week is the 11th. So today is Wednesday. So Tuesday the 11th is Veterans Day. Thank a vet. With that in mind, like Biddy said, go to risingmiddleamerica.com. We always need producers. We got the merch. Christmas is around the corner, so if you're still looking for gifts, early bird gets the worm. Bearing that in mind, Biddy, thank you for being here. Follow her at Elizabeth213A. Thank you guys for being here. Let's get Rumble over 100 subs before the end of the year. See you guys next time.
Good night, everybody.
Night, night.
So I got to thinking, there's MAHA, Make America Healthy Again, MAGA, make America great again. But what we really need to do is make America follow the Constitution again. Motherfucker. That sounded better in my head.